Hi everyone. A few weeks ago, I responded to a Reddit post asking for tips for playing Ley, but I felt that a video would be more effective, so here it is. My name is Zenoko, and welcome to my Ley skill tree guide. For starters, Ley has 4 classes with each skill tree split between summoning type and gravity type skills. But before breaking down her skills, I want to emphasize that playing Ley takes time and persistence. She is fairly slow at first due to her combo, AP recovery, and dash that does not maintain speed like most other characters. But if you are patient, you will be rewarded with a faster combo, greatly increased AP recovery, helpful summons, better mobility, and tons of strong skills. Now that sounds pretty worth it, right? Also, for the sake of time, I'll only be talking about what I consider to be the must-have skills for each class.
Jeeves! Where is he?
With all that said, let's take a look at Ley's first class, Summoner. Starting on the gravity side, you should unlock Inspire as soon as possible. This technique gives Ley a much needed boost to her AP recovery rate, and you unlock Gravity Ball and Flame Roll on the way, which are good skills to have early on. On the summoning side, you'll want to pick up Ley's first job summon, Garul, along with its speed buff and time buff. You can also unlock Garul's breath attack, which can then be enhanced by selecting the fire element or ice element. Personally, I prefer the DOT fire breath over the freezing ice breath. If you want to give Garul another attack, you can get Breakthrough next, which damages mobs by dashing through them. These abilities make Garul more useful in dungeons, and his breaths can be buffed later on when you unlock Ley's third class. The last active skill you'll want to get is Jeeves' Power Bomb. This is one of Ley's strongest abilities that you will see me recommend over and over during this video. For Summoner class passives, I only unlock Plot since this is Ley's double jump. Charge Attack takes 3 seconds to cast and does less damage than your basic combo, and you don't really need reduced counterattack cooldown since summons can be used without hotkeys later on. Here are the skill trees for Summoner one more time, and my hotkey recommendations.
Get out of my way now!
Now we can move on to Ley's second class, Harbinger. On the gravity side, you only need to max out Uncertain Air to unlock a third job skill later on. Uncertain Air can be good if you like the auto-targeting on nearby enemies, but I prefer Gravity Ball and Jeeves' Etiquette as 1-bar skills at this point. For the summoning side, we'll want to unlock Bastion, the second class summon, along with her speed and HP buffs. Under that, Bastion has attacks that can be activated by pressing X and a direction key. Even though I rarely use these commands, they can be useful for bringing Bastion to your side if she gets stuck, which is a bug that carried over from the 2010s. Anyway, I also ignore Harbinger's summoning side 3-bar skill called Grim Hand, since Jeeves' Power Bomb is still the better option. In terms of passives, I like to get every skill on this page. Jump Attack level 2 is much easier to control than Ley's basic jump attack, and it can knock smaller enemies down. Dash Attack level 2 and Dash Attack Increased Distance let you throw a damaging orb in front of Ley after dashing, which is a quick and safe way to attack mobs from a distance. So, to recap, here are the Harbinger skill trees and a recommended hotkey setup.
Wow, it's so exciting, I'm yawning.
And here's where your perseverance really starts to pay off. So, let's discuss Ley's third class, Evoker. Evoker is the class where you unlock an amazing new summon and buffs for your previous 2 summons. But before you do that, I highly recommend unlocking Summon Command on the gravity side. This technique lets you summon any unlocked creatures using C and their corresponding direction key, so now you never have to use hotkeys for summoning, and you can summon even if all your skills are on cooldown. You'll also want to get the TikTok skill on this side to unlock 4th job skills later on, but that can be done after unlocking basically every skill on the summoning side. Like always, you'll want to get this class's summon named Haunt, along with his HP and speed buffs. You'll also want to unlock all 3 of his curse abilities. Dark Red decreases enemy defense, Dark Green decreases attack, and Violet applies a DOT bleed. Haunt's basic attack also drops damage over time flames on mobs, so that, plus his debuffs, make him a very useful summon. Then we have Garul's buffs, Statue, and Breath Enhancement. Finally, we can buff Garul's breath attack with the basic breath leaving a blinding cloud on the ground, the ice breath freezing the ground, and the fire breath scorching the ground to deal damage over time. Again, I prefer the fire breath since the first two seem to work better in PvP, but I'd love to hear if you guys use the other two breaths in PvE down in the comments. Statue is a very helpful CC ability that causes nearby enemies to target Garul, creating a perfect opportunity to hit a large mob with a skill. We also have Bastion's new attacks called Rabies and Bark. Rabies is Bastion's DOT bleed attack, and Bark is a great AoE attack that does lots of damage and multiple hits. Keep in mind, these cannot be controlled like Bastion's X commands, but the summon's AI is very good about using them, so make sure to keep an eye out for Garul casting Statue or Haunt using his defense debuff. Now that we have the active tab out of the way, we can talk about why you can completely ignore Evoker's passive abilities. Third job passives really only buff your slow basic combo, which will replace with fourth job anyway, so they aren't really worth getting. There's also an enhancement for charged attack from her first job passives, but again, why get this when her ultimate is a much faster, automatic homing orb that does a lot more damage. Here are the skill trees for Evoker one more time, and don't forget to pick up TikTok on the gravity side, because we'll need that to unlock some fourth job skills soon.
Jeeves, I'll be back before the tea gets cold.
Alright, now we can finally get into Ley's fourth and final class, Dark Matriarch. You'll probably notice that my skill point distribution looks very different here compared to my previous skill trees. For starters, I only unlock her last summon Jeeves, his speed and time buffs, and his Destructor ability. I don't unlock his X commands because I prefer Bastion over Jeeves as my ground summon. Side note, Ley can only have one ground summon and one air summon at the same time, and I've found that Bastion and Haunt work the best together. At the bottom of the active tab, you'll notice 3 new summon effects that you definitely want to unlock. Creature buff gives you a 20-second stat increase based on the summon you cast, which is a great incentive for using your summons. Creature MP cost reduction speaks for itself, more summons and less MP wasted. Lastly, we have Random Summon, which gives you a free summon at the start of the game. Unfortunately, there is a bug that sometimes causes Random Summon to not work at the beginning of the game. Moving on to the gravity side of the skill tree, you'll see why I've mostly ignored the gravity side of Ley's skills. Dark Luminous is an AoE skill that damages enemies near Ley, while Netherwind propels Ley forward as she attacks. Half Moon is a solid 2-bar skill that works similar to Liar's second job 2-bar skill, because it is a one-hit high damage ability. Then we have 2 of the best 3-bar skills in the game. Real Dark is an amazing skill with an infinite vertical hitbox starting from the mouth of the creature that spawns above Ley. Havoc is the other 3-bar skill with a large AoE that brings smaller enemies closer to the center of the skill before throwing them horizontally and dealing extra damage if they hit a wall. This skill is the way better version of Ley's second job skill, Center of Gravity, which is very slow and easy to miss. For Dark Matriarch's passives, we can finally unlock Combo Attack Level 2, which is a much faster, close-range combo that helps with Ley's DPS and mobility. Advanced Combo further increases Dark Matriarch's utility by giving her a quick knockup for smaller enemies that lets you land more air attacks. Lastly, we have Advanced Jump, which is a quick diagonal descent that is very useful for both damaging enemies and for quickly traversing longer maps like the corridor in the Crucible. One last time, here are my skill pages for Dark Matriarch. And that's it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this guide was helpful and informative, or that it at least made you interested in trying out Ley. She's one of the strongest characters in Grand Chase, but requires patience before she really starts to shine. Again, this is how I play Ley, and is intended to be a guide, not a standard. Please feel free to share any tips you have for playing Ley in the comments below, and keep a lookout for part 2 of this video where I'll briefly discuss some tricks I've picked up from playing Ley for so long. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you'll come back next time.